Hello, if you're watching this video, you probably want to know what a flipped classroom is. Real quick, parents, if you're watching this, I just wanted to let you know I do have a parent edition of this video, of this presentation that gets a little more into detail, all that stuff that I get to talk about one-on-one with the kids in the classroom. If you want to go watch that, that's great. But for the rest of you, this is just just real quick crash course into what a flipped classroom is. So you know what we're going to be trying to do this year. So in order to understand a flipped classroom, I want you to think about two different kinds of styles. So the first classroom is our traditional classroom. This is where we have a group space and an individual space. In the group space, you come in, you sit down at your desk, the teacher lectures, you take notes. Occasionally you might get lucky and get to do some sort of fun group activity. Then there's the individual space. This is homework. This is where you take the stuff that you had to listen to your teacher talk about and you go home and you have to work with it somehow. Either you review the materials or you have to do things like work on writing papers or things that are generally harder, and you have to do that all on your own without any kind of support. Sometimes that can be tough. So in a flipped classroom, we flip-flop that. It changes. The individual space becomes the space where you basically take your notes, where you get the information that's going to be needed to do the hard stuff. We'll talk more about that here in just a second. The group space in a flipped classroom is where you get a chance to work with the information that you took notes on, that you gathered ahead of time. It gives you a chance to ask questions. It gives me a chance as a teacher to make sure there aren't any kind of misconceptions or things aren't confusing. But more importantly, it gives us an opportunity to do a lot more fun stuff. Things like Socratic seminars, projects, other kind of group activities where we can use that information that you learned and do something fun with. So why do I think this is so awesome? Well, first of all, it allows me as a teacher to interact with you guys a lot more one-on-one. Sometimes we don't have that opportunity in class because, there are 30 of you and it's hard to get around and talk to every single person. It really helps you guys as a student too, because it allows you to get the information at your own pace. By watching video presentations like this on your own, you can pause, you can rewind, you can make sure you don't miss things. It also gives you an opportunity to be more active in your learning. There's studies all out there that show that the more active you are while you're trying to learn something, the better you're going to learn it. It also gives you a chance to engage more. And if you are active in your learning and you're engaged, that's going to make you a lot more motivated to do better. So why have I decided to do that this year in U.S. history? Well, here's the deal, guys. This is not your grandpa's U.S. history class. We're not doing things the same here in Roane County anymore. In fact, if you look at your schedule, we don't even have U.S. history anymore. It's actually called SDC Pilot American History. What that means, basically, and we'll talk more about this in class, is that you could have possibly the opportunity to get a college credit by doing this class and taking a test at the end of the year. If you do well enough on the test, you can have a college credit. But in order to do that, you're expected to do a lot more. You need to know how to read, think, and write like a historian, which on the surface doesn't sound that hard, but trust me, it's a lot harder than it sounds. And to be able to get all the information that you need, plus teach you things like reading, writing, and thinking like a historian in 50 minutes, that is a lot of stuff to do in a short class period. I want to make sure that you're ready to go, because really and truly it's about preparation. I want you to be prepared for that test at the end of the year. It's called the challenge exam. If you're headed off to college after high school, I want you to be prepared for college. And regardless of what you do after high school, I want you to be prepared for life. By doing a flipped classroom, it's going to give me more an opportunity to talk about some things, to teach you guys some things that we wouldn't normally be able to hit on. Some things that can be very useful, essentially for the rest of your life. That's what it's all about. So the big idea here, guys, is we're going to do something different. We're doing the flipped classroom this year. I promise you're going to love it. It's going to take us a little while to get there. This is going to be new to me, just like it's new to you. But we're going to learn a lot. It's going to be fun. Stick with me and you're going to learn to enjoy it, I promise.